Hey, I see you. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the train. There's a little bit of room back there. It's starting to get a little crowded, but there's some room. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates that I hope you'll check out. Everybody's all of a sudden buzzing about the need for a big-time wide receiver. And where, I should ask, might I have heard such a concept getting raised for a few weeks now? Oh, come on, I can have some fun with this, right? Brandon Aiyuk is out there, apparently. I'm not sure why the 49ers would want to be rid of him. He's 26 years old. I'm looking at his stats from the past two seasons. In 2022, he crossed through 1,000 yards. And in 2023, he had 75 catches for 1,342 yards, averaged 17.9 yards per catch, had a 76-yarder, had 7 touchdowns. I'm here to tell you this is an upgrade over what Diontae Johnson provided. And this also meets the kind of player that I've been discussing for a while now that I'd want to see added to this offense, and that was even before Diontae got traded to the Panthers. You're seeing Omar Khan and the staff bring in wide receivers. You're seeing them bring in some guys who either have names or, respectfully here, had names. And in this case, it's more than smoke. When they're coming to your offices to visit you, or even have players scheduled to come visit you who don't eventually make it. That's what happened with Mike Williams last night. He signed with the Jets for 1 year and $15 million, and they weren't letting him out of New Jersey without a deal. But that's a really, really strong signal as to how seriously Omar's taking this. I think I get the sense that it's currently their number one priority. And yes, of course that has to do with Diontae, but that's okay. To repeat, I've felt it was needed all along because of Diontae's inconsistencies, because Diontae never, for whatever reason, and there were plenty of them, able to convert all of that legitimately elite route running and getting open ability into numbers. He always needed to be a volume type receiver. Notice I avoided the derisive term possession receiver because Diontae was capable of more than that and showed it on occasion. But more than anything, he just needed to be that guy that got you a bunch of catches, occasionally popped into double digits, and consistently got you 100 yards. Whether he got touchdowns or not, and that obviously was never his strength, was kind of a side thing. This player is needed, and that was always going to be regardless of whoever was the quarterback. I'll repeat, I've been saying this for a while now, including back when the quarterback mix was, well, it was just Kenny Pickett as far as signed players. So if this offense is going to take its next step, and again, please kind of go with me here on this one and just set aside the quarterbacks. I know that's impossible, and I know that's actually kind of flawed as a way of thinking, but just ride with it, all right? You were always going to need another caliber added to that wide receiver room. I go back to the feeling that I had, and this one is really going to be tough. Walking into Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park and what the Steelers would have matching up against the Bills, meaning the Steelers offense against the Bills defense. And I remember thinking to myself, listen, even if Mason Rudolph looks the way he did in those final 3 regular season games, even if George Pickens pops 1 or 2, you're still not going to have enough from the receiving core to make a playoff level impact. Now, to his credit, Calvin Austin caught a touchdown in that game. Diontae wasn't bad. George wasn't bad. But, you know, if we're going to take this conversation to bring Aiyuk into it, however mythical that might seem at the moment, Go look at what Aiyuk was doing in the playoffs. He wasn't just catching a football. He was catching and breaking off. He was making things happen. And you can be one of those people that just credits everything to the brilliance of the 49ers coaching staff and how they can scheme everybody open. Okay, I'm sure that's a factor in it. Somebody still has to make the play. Somebody still has to execute with the football. Aiyuk can do that. Aiyuk did that. One of the things that'll make this offense a lot more dynamic, I think, is to be a lot more unpredictable. And that doesn't always mean, some kind of gadget play or doing something in terms of how you line up or how you move pre-snap or whatever. Sometimes it's just you have so many weapons that they don't know which conventional play to expect next, or which player can take the football wherever the X has him getting the football and then do something extra with that X, break off, like I was saying about Aiyuk. If the Steelers get their wide receiver, whether it's Aiyuk or somebody else, you'll add that to this offense. I would still have questions about the slot receiver. I don't know that CA3 is big enough to handle that role consistently. That's a lot of balls over the middle, and maybe that's better off going to the tight end. But I would take that as a wide receiver core or even just a two-man wide receiver tandem. Yeah, I know you always have to have multiples out there. I get that. But let them be guys who make an impact, who make a difference. And then from there, get to the draft. You don't really have to worry about wide receiver. Go ahead and take care of center and right tackle and whatever else you want. Heck, there will still be a wide receiver waiting for you in the 4th round if you want to keep building with younger guys. When we come back, J1Q.
This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar. Exciting news from Live Casino Pittsburgh's Poker Room. Join them this month for the Westmoreland 300 Multi-Flight Poker Tournament, March 7th through the 10th, with a $25,000 guaranteed prize pool. Plus, accrue hours every day until March 23rd and come for an $8,000 cash drawing on March 24th, beginning at noon until 8 p.m. Also, during March, all 2-5 or higher Texas Hold'em players will receive a $40 food comp after playing for 1 hour. Any new players who mention DK Sports, that's us, at the poker podium upon your first visit to the poker room will receive a food comp after playing for 2 hours. More action, more winnings, only at Live Casino Pittsburgh's Poker Room. Follow Live Pittsburgh's Poker Room on X at Live Poker WML for promotion and tournament news.
Today's J1Q comes from Tony, who says, DK, let's look at the 800-pound gorilla in the room. How should the Steelers handle Justin Fields' 5th-year option? It would seem absurd to pick it up at $25.6 million, but it also seems a waste to allow it to lapse, assuming at this moment he's the backup quarterback and won't see a full season of starting. Do they attempt to extend his contract at a backup with promise and incentives type of deal, or do they allow the 5th-year option to lapse and hope that they can work out a longer term next season? Unless he plays a lot this year and leads the team to playoff success, it seems the franchise tag would be unwise. Tony, this might be as complicated a decision as Omar Khan will have to face, if you think about it, this offseason, because it's the only example, really, where he has to take a situation that appears to be right in front of him, but actually isn't. It's down further into the future, and make a call now on whether or not you believe in Fields. Again, not now, but then. That's tough. That's tough. That's a hard football call. But there's no way, start with this, that Omar and everyone in the Steelers offices wouldn't have already considered all this before even getting in touch with Chicago on this front. And To me, that says that they believe in his potential. And if you stop right there, and then you look at the money, and you look at whether it's a fifth-year option or whether it's an extension, the potential, ask yourself if it's worthwhile. Look at what they just went through at the quarterback position. Look at what they've been trying to achieve at the quarterback position since Ben Roethlisberger was out. And then, and I've only been mentioning this all the time of late, they're not currently spending really anything at the most important position. So what's a better usage of that money than to say, hey, we'll pay into this. We'll put our down payment into this player, into this person, and we'll hope that he gets better over time. We'll hope that he can address some of the significant shortcomings that he showed with the Bears, the interceptions, the fumbles, because he also had a whole bunch of touchdowns. And he also showed athleticism, mobility at the position that, candidly here, nobody else has in the game. So if you say we value that, we value the things that can't be coached that he has, we believe we can coach him, we believe we can make him better, then if it's not the fifth-year option, then it's some other form, but you do find a way to set aside the cap space to preserve him. Because for however long you're going to have Russell Wilson, and I don't even have an opinion on that right now. I need to see him fit with this offense. I need to see how things go. And I need to see how much mobility and everything else he still has in his mid-30s to see how much that'll affect his own future. But man, there's a lot of different moving gears in that engine. Can you feel that? I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow.